Being sensitive, I mean, be careful what you say to people. Be careful how you handle what people share with you. People come with different ideas, their own opinion. Even people with no experience of marriage, they still want to advise you.
When two young people decide to come together as husband and wife, and of course spend the rest of their life together, a lot of things happen, and then of course part of it is getting married, like the official ceremony, and some people have traditional weddings and all that. But one very key thing is lots of people buy books, they advise you and say, well, this is different, and importantly, your parents as well. The parents would of course say to you that, well, you're going to live with your husband or you're going to live with your wife as one, and then they give you a couple of advice. I remember my mom saying to me when I was going to get married, she said, oh, you're getting married now, this is different, you have to be a good wife, you have to be good to your in-laws, you remember the child of who you are, and so many other things. However, when both of you start living together, it becomes different. You are faced with reality. When you start having children and you're having to pay the bills, a lot of things start, evolving, and then you now have an understanding of the consequences of marriage. It wasn't what you expected, isn't it? You're faced with it and you start asking the obvious question, should we have had marriage literacy or a PhD on marriage, before we went ahead to do this? Anyway, this episode is we've been through a lot, and we actually thought that it will be nice to share some of our experiences with you, and we hope some of you will find it very useful, because of course lots of marriages, lots of people are having to go through a lot, especially when two different people come together to live as one. However, today I have somebody special with me. He's the king of my life, the one who has my mumu button. I call him Honey Pomponene. That's my husband, Peter Omishade. He's my special guest today on today's show. Thanks for joining me, Peter.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, right. So I'm really excited that he's here today. We're going to be sharing our experiences, and we hope that you find one or two things that you will find useful. So yeah, the king of my life is here today, and I'm sure you're excited that he's joining us today. Anyway, before I go ahead, this is when I say this. If this is the first time you're joining us, thank you for joining us. This is the Bola Adeyeye Omishade show. Welcome to our community, a community where we support people to identify their purpose, to answer those life big questions that have remained unanswered, to help you find your voice, to communicate your message, and importantly, to be a better and the best version of yourself. So thanks for joining us. If you have not subscribed, please feel free to do that so that you do not miss our future episode. Thank you for doing that now. And also to the returning viewers, yes, we are in this together, isn't it? Thank you for joining me. I am really excited that you are here again today, and I appreciate every single time that you spend with me on the show. So thank you. Now, back to the business of today. What we didn't know before marriage, about marriage. We're going to be sharing our experience, and I think I would want to start. One very, very important thing that I struggled with for a long time, and to be honest, nobody actually sat me down, I didn't read it anywhere, that you need to understand, although it's the reality of life, but when it comes to marriage, it's a lot different. And for so many years in my marriage, I struggled with having to understand that two different homes, two different values, two different homes, two different perception, you see. And this is something that if you're not very careful, it can actually lead to both parties going their separate way, separate ways per se. So I am my mother's last child, and I in most cases I get what I want. My elder ones, they always Dera now, of course, so everyone is Dera, and then I got carried away, and I actually carried all the Dera, and it's a lot different. Actually, I'll tell you a story. When I met my husband and we were going to, should I share this? Actually, I said, we had the first time we're going to have like intimacy. There is literally nothing I cannot say to my mother, to my brothers, to my siblings. I can say anything to them, but you see, as opposed to my husband, it's not the same. So the first time I was going to have intimacy with my husband, I was, super excited that, yay! And what I did was I called my mom just there and there. We were still together, and I called my mom. I said, guess what? This is what I did. And, we had the chat and all that. And my husband was shocked that, Mugbe, who is this woman? For me, it's a norm. I didn't see it as any, but for him, of course, it's a taboo. He hasn't seen a normal human being, calling your mom to say that kind of thing to her. And of course, I can say that to my brothers. I can say to because, we sort of open that and it helps for me. I think it's actually helped me to put me in check as well, my siblings as well. We sort of put ourselves in check and all that. But for him, it's, Peter.
Yes, you actually did. Well, I got used to it now, and she went, hello mom, and I told my mom everything. I asked what exactly did you? She said everything, what we did. I said, what are you talking about? Are you your right senses? Yeah, I'm my right senses, of course. Yeah, but I just have to. She's my mom. There's nothing really I could do to that. I was actually shocked. I was shocked, and I fainted.
You woke.
I woke up again to my,
to see that this is reality.
That's for real. It actually happened. She felt really good about it, But to me, it was a bit
awkward, weird.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So the thing is, you as couples, when you're coming together, you need to understand, and nobody would remind you. So, and if you're not very careful, you wouldn't end up in a very good place, So it took me so much time to understand that people would interpret things differently. People would communicate in different ways, And of course, you're not just marrying your husband, you're marrying the whole circle, the whole clan. And there are lots of individuals within that clan, so you need to actually try and identify people and know them for who they are, appreciate their values, and sort of see how you can fit in. Else you're just going to keep going on from one problem to the other, and that was a problem for me. So I am using this opportunity to say to any man or any woman, if you are actually struggling with people understanding you, and there are a couple of things that you have brought from your home, firstly take a step back and say, you're not in your home anymore. You are in a different home entirely, and they have actually grown up that way. So you are coming with your own values, you're coming with your own perception. So you need to take a step back and then try and identify what their strengths are, where they are, what they think or how they interpret in their own perception towards life and towards things, and see how you can fit in, and always take a step back sometimes. I had to learn. It's still a learning curve, and to be honest, today we're not coming in here to say that we're perfect. We're still learning, but we feel that some of these experiences will help one or two people, and then you don't have to reinvent the wheel and having to go through all we have gone through. I don't know, Peter, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I would say it's actually an individual thing. So you don't say we're not a marriage counselor.
Yeah.
Really sharing experience, is it? And I before I got married, I never knew it was actually gonna be this way, and it's quite a different journey entirely, which I have to face it. I wasn't really taking the marriage of a thing seriously at the start of when we just got married. Not until people started like chipping in their ideas, opinions, like it made me see it in a different way, and where the maturity has to come in. So I had to sit tight and face it. So,
and this is reality. It's not.
It's not actually a child play.
Yeah.
I faced it, and I'm enjoying it now anyway. So.
Yeah. So what were the things that you actually did not know before? Nobody said to you, and before marriage, and then when you actually got married, and then you thought,
Yeah, definitely they will tell you different
things
based on their
you actually go to counseling. Even on your wedding day, people would say a lot of things, and but it's actually different.
All through the counseling, most cases, most time I might be sleeping, and I wasn't taking it serious, honestly.
For women, we are always in most cases after the wedding day, the big day and all that, isn't it?
I could remember you do put a note down, write some points, but I look at it, it's practical. I don't. So not until I was actually in it. I think the best experience is when you're actually in it. In it, you get to know more about it. You get to understand it more better.
You face reality.
You face the reality, as opposed to people telling you before you get into it. So I will say I actually learned a lot. Why?
And we're still learning, actually.
I'm still learning. Fine. In many cases, the only funny thing is when I used to think like, well, I will have you to myself alone, and it never happened. I kept asking myself, why is this not happening? That I should have my wife to myself. So if things happened outside my marriage, and I wasn't part of it, or I wasn't involved in it, so I go like, why is it going to happen that way?
Without
my concept. You know what I mean? But I kept, I just call my dad like, Dad, I won't take,
But the thing is, you cannot have your wife to yourself. And to be honest, we actually went through a lot before we came to understanding that I know that you are married, two shall become one, but you grew up with your siblings, and you cannot, and to be honest, if you're out there, you're a couple, you will just end up finding yourself in a place where you wouldn't be happy. You cannot have your wife or your husband to yourself alone. There are people
it's a no thing.
And we really had to learn the hard way. They already have their own home where they grew up. And in as much as you need to know how to set the boundaries and know when to stop, which is very, very important. You need to know when to set the boundaries, and which it's if you have the mindset that I'm going to have my wife to myself, I'm going to have my husband to myself, I'm going to break the relationship, because now she's bearing a new name, then you are making a very big mistake, because you're going to end up causing more problems for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Remember, most cases whereby I go for something, you go like, you be like a guest that thing, and it kept happening, like, and this is one thing you get from your partner as well, most especially women, they just want to challenge you. They derive kind of joy in challenging their man. Like, no, what is it you're gonna do I cannot do? No, you just have to give it to them. If you want peace to reign, if you actually want peace to reign, give it to them. If not, then you could challenge them.
So what are you trying to say?
In my case,
are you trying to say that I've been challenging you?
Quite a lot. I took my time to study my wife. It took me time, actually. But one of the things I've noticed in the journey, if I happens to like someone, like, I kept talking about a particular person, like, in a positive way, like, she want to go against that thing. Like, what is he? Who's he? Things like, So I got that point. Like, even if I like someone, like, I have my good side about someone, a man or whatever, I have to do it all the way around. Like, I don't even like him. Is it that my friend? I don't want him in this house. I don't like him. So my wife would go like, why don't you like? I think I like. It's okay. It's all right. It's good. Oh, I don't even like her. My cousin, I don't like this person. She might just, can I have an number? Excuse me. So things all the way around. So I learned that as well.
Yeah, I think, and I think that ties into we actually have different values, and I think I'm going back to I have another example actually, because I can actually say to my brother, I love you. I can say to my, we're on the call, about the call to my brother, and we went, we want to end the call. I would say love you, brother, and he would say the same easily. There's this person, I realized that my husband, I've never had my husband say I love you to his dad, and then we had a conversation, that we're having a conversation, and then I said to my husband, okay, say I love you, daddy. He said, daddy knows I love him now. I said, open your mouth and say, daddy, I love you. And then,
I love you, daddy. I've said
No. He didn't say it. He couldn't say it. And then I said to daddy, he said, daddy knows I love, but he couldn't say it. It was strange to him. And then I said to daddy, daddy, say, I love you, my only son, Shola. And daddy said, I know, he knows now. I can say it now, And I said, no, daddy, say it. And daddy said, I love you, my only son, Shola. And it was Shola's turn to say it. He just cut off the phone. You see, so it was very difficult. Although he feels comfortable, saying I had to train him to do that. That's a good wife, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's more of, I would not say maturity. We weren't used to doing such with if I was going to talk about, if I was going to speak to my dad or have one-to-one things, mostly we talk business, like, cool.
It's official.
More official, So coming up with end of conversation like, oh, love you, dad, it's not coming. No, it won't come. So I could say that to my mom, easy, So compared to my dad is the street type, very strict. When we're growing up, then even up to the last few years it came around, I wasn't able to even look into his eyes. Yeah. Talking to him, I have to look down. So it was really that bad. So
now I've sort of extended my own culture. He now has my own culture now.
We talk now, myself, my dad, we talk almost every day. Every day, yeah. We talk about everything. Everything.
Yes.
We're like,
Yeah. So what are we trying to say
Yes.
here is two different homes have two different values, you see, and
Yeah.
you need to actually you need to you need to be clear at the beginning of the marriage that we understand that we're from two different homes, we have two different, and give that gap, let there be that margin that with time we're going to understand, and also extend it to the clan as well, not just yourself. Because if you find yourself in and be rigid about your own, what you are bringing from your home, you want it to stand, then you probably
It's not working. It won't work.
yes, you're going to end up, you find yourself in a situation where you wouldn't be unhappy. The other point I would like to give is doing what makes you happy as a couple, as a family, as a small unit. You see, we come from a place where we have cultural values, and in the world today, the world actually imposes a lot of things on you, and then you need to think, you need to have that balance and weigh them. Is the culture actually fitting with the environment I find myself in? It's just like, I'll give you an example of where usually the woman is always the one doing the whole thing. You have to, that's in the culture, you have to kneel down and give your husband, which is good, I'm not saying it's not good, give your husband the food, he will sit there, and then you will take the plates back to the kitchen. It's sort of respect and all that. But in this kind of community, this is the age and time where the woman has gone from 7 a.m. in the morning and does not come back till like 10 a.m. and the man possibly came back at 5 p.m. in the evening. I'm sorry, she would be exhausted, so you need to, at least for a while, put the culture aside on the day where you can actually put that culture in. And this is not just about culture, it also applies to if you have the people around you where that they do things that you really want to do. You need to ask yourself, as a unit, as a family, can we afford to do this thing? Is it within our reach? Do not make yourself do not bring things that will make your family unhappy. Be very selfish with your own family unit. Be selfish with what you have, and think about yourself first. Anything that comes your way, does this make us happy? Will this bring peace? Is there going to be arguments if we start this discussion? And to be honest, whatever you cannot do, don't start it at all. If you know that you cannot continue kneeling down with your two legs to give your husband food, don't start it. Don't start it at all. But you see, I've realized that a lot of people, those tiny little things actually causes problem.
That's actually a culture.
It is. I'm not. No. And the thing is, I'm not saying that. I'm not actually of the opinion that throw it away, but be very flexible and do it in a way where the family is at peace. You're doing what makes your unit happy at that time. And that also implies to the kind of people that you welcome into your home, because there are some people that want to just come to your home to come and show off, and when they are leaving, they are getting out of your door, you are making yourself unhappy because of what they have said. People will only say to you what they want you to hear. They would never say to you the things that are going bad. They wouldn't even say to you how they handle the culture in their own homes. They would say to you what the culture actually says, but they wouldn't say that. So we are very flexible with the culture. We are very flexible with what what life throws at us. And we think about our own happiness. Your happiness as a couple is very important. If the wife is happy, the husband is happy. I think we were reading an article, and then there was a graphic, an illustration where they saw the husband hoovering, and the wife was there happy, say the man that supports with the house chores, his wife is happy. It's not a crime if you can support your wife to do the house when she's exhausted, because it's not
like that.
Oh, I do, yeah. Tell me, a woman, that if you're a woman on this, you're watching this, and you don't like your husband supporting you doing the house chores, please, Can we know and give us reasons? What everyone would do, And if you cook for me and I cook for you, there has to be a balance. We will be happy. I know somebody that I know she'll be happy for me to share this. Her husband, they are no more, because that's it. She wakes up as early as 5 to go to work and does not come back till 10. Her husband comes back early. He sits there. He doesn't even put the children to bed. He waits for her to come back. She would be exhausted. You wouldn't get the best out of her. You wouldn't. There has to be a balance. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, you've said it all. Yeah, I think the most important thing, it's in marriage, we should learn to support each other. Yeah, the two shall become one. And we should try as much as possible to practice that thing. Anything you do to yourself, you actually doing it to your partner, because if I try to hold myself, or if I hold my wife, then it's actually going to affect me.
Yeah.
With the older. If we have this misunderstanding or disagreement, definitely I won't be happy. Yeah. I just want to prove I'm a man. I don't care, so I just walk out from the house, of which I'm not happy about the situation. And this I would like to chip in the third party, the impact of a third party in a marriage.
Yeah, but just before just before you chip in there, the other thing we actually notice that when we have disagreements, we tend to spend a lot. We spend a lot of money. When we have disagreements,
you don't want to talk to me. You don't want to. You wouldn't want to plan with me.
Exactly. And then and sometimes he's done shopping and then I do shopping and then we end up buying the same thing. So when you try to avoid anything because you will spend a lot of money and time is ticking.
Setback.
Yeah. I think that's the word you used to use. It gives us setback. We always laid back.
When you have to start all over again.
And nobody will say this to you. So we're sharing this. You observe, if you're watching, you're a couple, you're watching this, observe yourself when you sort of have misunderstanding and see what your expenses are like. You would see that you end up spending a lot. You're spending more than you actually bargain for. Yeah.
So, at the time you want to go and visit a friend, you want to spend time, you spend money. Additional spending.
Or you eat outside and all that. Yeah. So you were going to talk about the third party.
Yeah, I was trying to chip in. That was supposed to go with what I was talking like the impact of third party in a marriage. Yeah, though we should know that, and a lot of people will tell you shouldn't allow third party into your marriage. Well, I will say yes, but other way around, the impact of third party in the marriage. It could go into sides.
Yeah, it has the positive and the negative impact.
Yeah, we have the positive impacts and the negative impacts. So it's you shouldn't. No one should come up and say, "Well, since I got married, I've never been involved in."
I haven't involved a third party.
Yeah, with a third party in my marriage. It's not going to be. That's not true. Third party could be anything. Third party could be even the social media. Through social media, you get, and even the book we read, all these marriage books, my love, all these things. They're all third parties, in-laws, pastors, friends, families, and we all third parties. So tell me, even your neighbor. Third party, colleague at work, third party. Tell me, is there a way we could do without third party in our marriage? It's not possible. So I will say, we should only be sensitive about it. Being sensitive, I mean, be careful what you say to people. Be careful how you handle what people share with you. People come with different ideas, their own opinion. Even people with no experience of marriage, they still want to advise you. A marriage of a year or two want to advise a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? In some cases, it never goes this way.
Yeah.
They might have their own good idea or experience. They might be experienced. Don't get me wrong, but the point is, you as an individual should be careful of what and who you welcome into your marriage. We're all mature. You know if this is a bad influence. You can tell. If I share my ideas or if I share to you, talk about my marriage, or I come to you to tell you about few things going on in my marriage to advise me. If you're giving me the good advice, I know. I'm not daft. So if you're bad influence, I know. So it's not up to me to decide. Even giving me the right idea or giving me the good words could help my marriage, I might not even stick to it. It might be of no point to me. Oh, do this, or you go home, do that. I might not even I don't care. So I would just say we try as much as possible
to be very careful.
Be careful, be sensitive, whoever you bring into your marriage, whoever you welcome into your marriage. Be careful about it.
Some people have influence over your decision, and they can sometimes. I think we've had experiences where tiny little bit of a misunderstanding, and because we have actually involved third party, it blows up. It's more than what it is, and everybody that you share your whatever with, they want to because in their own they whatever their advice they are giving to you is the best, and everyone thinks so. For example, if 5 people give you different advice, they all think that those advice they have given to you is the right advice, you see. But based on our own experience, we feel that it has its good side and it has its bad side. Now, sometimes when you have misunderstanding, you need somebody to talk to. You need somebody who has experience, Maybe they want to share their experience, or they've had similar situation. How have they resolved it, and that will possibly give you a lead where now it is up to you to be very sensitive. But the thing is, at that point where you as a couple, you have a misunderstanding, you're not in your right frame of mind. You see, so it's always very difficult to make concrete decision. That's why we, based on our own experience, we're saying keep your circle very small. Keep it very small, and be very sensitive to, you need to ask yourself certain questions. Why am I sharing this with this person? What do I want the person? Do I want the person to share their experience with me? Do I want them to advise me? Do I just want to talk? Because sometimes you just want to talk. Sometimes you just want to pour it out, All you need to say, I just want you to listen, I just want to talk. Because you don't even need to say it, because sometimes it might come out as rude, But then just say that or maybe you listen to the person, but within you, you know that you just want to rant, and which is okay. It's something, and even the problem shared is half solved, isn't it? Whichever way it is said, So what we are trying to say, and one very important thing that we have also realized that is, no matter how much you invite third party or how much advice you get, the third party give you, it's still up to the two of you to decide if you want to resolve it or not. Because no matter, the third party will not say, two of you come together then resolve it. It has to be two of you. So why you need to be very, very, very careful. And the very, very, very key, I think we had a misunderstanding we involved lots of third party, and it became very big. And then me on my own, I was praying, and Peter on his own was praying as well. And I don't know, one day we just decided so we realized that it's important to speak to God. A lot of people say speak to God, but it doesn't really come as, they say just pray, but you would actually get to that stage where you know that, okay, this is actually, if we are not very careful, we're going to go our separate ways. And then, I think both of us were scared that this, the way this, and then we had to pray, that I had to pray on my own that, oh God, I'm going to lose my husband. And he was like, yay, my wife. And then we had to pray. We prayed and it was later we started having those conversations. And don't forget, let me tell you, if you are being a third party, be very careful, because whatever you say to the husband, he's going to go back to say to his wife.
Exactly.
And the wife too will go back to say to her husband. So if you are being the third party, a lot of people say it, just always remember that you are not just a third party. Whatever you are saying, there's a fourth party, there's a fifth party, there's a sixth party. And whatever you say to the partner, he's going back to tell his wife everything you said. And whatever you say to the wife, she's going back to say to, if you agree with me, just put it in your comment. Yes, so this marriage thing, if you haven't actually had experience, oh my God, it's different from reading books. So although we've actually, the other thing that has helped us is reading lots of books. And a lot of people say read books. Sometimes it can be difficult to read books, but listen to audios, just the way you listen to music, just listen to audio books. You just find out that there are things that would help and build your marriage. And also find yourself in the right community. The circle that you keep, let it be a circle that you all share the same values. If you know that there's something about somebody you don't like, then don't keep the person in your circle. It's okay, but don't keep the person in your circle. You don't want that person does things that would affect your marriage negatively. Don't keep that person in your circle. And one other key thing I want to say is did you want to say something? No, the other thing I want to say was be satisfied and be contented. Be contented with your marriage. Be contented with what you have. The society today, if you are not very careful, you would have gone separate way before you thought about, we should have managed this properly. You see something on Instagram and you think you must have it in your home. No, it doesn't work like that. We've actually come to realize that people would...
Instagram. I think I mentioned the social media thing.
Yeah.
That is another powerful third party in your marriage. And there's nothing you can do to that. You can't take it away.
But you can manage it.
You can minimize.
You can
manage.
I know. I remember I think my pastor's wife was saying there's a time when they switch off their phone. They know that it's family time. But it might not work with everybody. It's really hard. You see, but be satisfied. Don't let peer pressure. Don't let people would only share with you what they want you to see. Now, if they buy this in their house and they have all this, do you know how they got their money? Do you know how happy they are? You'll be shocked that you that don't even have those things, you are happier. You are happier that what's material things if you're not happy? So we've come to, and also if you keep a large circle, you end up putting yourself in a very uncomfortable situation. And we're sharing this from experience, from our experience. We sort of keep our circle very low, and we don't even think about this person because we don't even know what they have. So there's no point us thinking whether this person has this person, because and we're sharing this because we've actually learned from the past. And if you find somebody, a couple that comes to you as all perfect, my brother, my sister, run. There is no perfect marriage. Any couple that comes to you that is in your circle and say, and they come across as, we don't fight, we are not like that. No, it's a lie. It is a lie. And that also leads to the question of, do we actually is it okay for our children? I was having this conversation with my husband. For me, I think that our children should see that we actually have disagreements so that they can have it's even a skill. It's a sellable skill. They need to understand that yes, we have arguments, but we have our ways of resolving it, as opposed to coming across as we don't have arguments at all. That's not healthy. We have arguments, but we resolve it, and don't let it be consistent. Don't get me wrong, it shouldn't be consistent, but let them have that so that they know that.
I can't remember the last time we had an argument.
Yeah, because we've actually grown to know but before we got to that place, it's not. It wasn't easy, we.
I actually worked for it. So
I worked for it. I'm a patient
I
woman.
worked it out. So.
I'm very patient.
Period.
I'm very patient, so it wasn't really easy. And to every couple listening, you will get to that stage. Please, if you are the edge, because we were actually at the edge, and the more reason why we are actually, you need to come together and start having conversations, listen to audiobooks together, read books together. We started doing all that and we got better. Now, previously when my husband does anything to me, I will get angry and but now I just ignore him, and then later I'll call him and say, we now have proper. The first time I said to my husband, can we talk? He said he said about what, because we weren't used to it. So build that culture of having proper conversations and saying things that you are not happy about, and say, let him express himself and say, then the next thing is, what's the way forward? How do we resolve it? It's not about just having that conversation, but seeing that you resolve it and you talk about it and you find a solution to it. And actually, hit the nail on the head and say to him that thing that you feel bad about. Sometimes she might not see where you are coming from. Give her some time. He might not see where you're coming from. Give him some time. So be satisfied with each other. If your husband is doing something that you don't like, try and look for, I don't know who was saying to me, I can't remember, try and look for the things that, I think I know, I read it in one of it was my friend that bought the book for me, and he says, look at the things that he does that you like and try and take away that thing that is annoying you. Take it off your mind. And I think you apply that as well, isn't it?
I used to.
Yeah. Piroro,
Remember a day you were going to pass a message across,
yes, I remember.
And you came up with this posting everywhere in the house. And then,
so what happened was my husband.
Nagging one.
Yeah, my husband nags. Oh my God.
No, I used to.
He used to. So what I did was, I've said it. We've argued. We fought. I got fed up. One day I was coming back from the office. I just printed it out and pasted it everywhere in the house. You remember he's coming to the house, he will see it. I posted it on the kitchen door. I put it on the bed, in the toilet. That I don't like it. It causes confusion. It makes me unhappy. I just posted it, and now he's ever since. I think it was a couple of years ago. So try and look for a way to communicate.
I felt really bad after I saw it. I think it was a very strong way of passing the message across. I was supposed to. I don't want that. I think it works.
Yeah, so you have to look for a. So, but finally, one other key point I would like to share is both of you are unique in your own way. Appreciate that there can never be two of you in this life. That's very, very key. For us, there can never be one Bola Ideraoluwa and one Peter coming together. You need to appreciate Omishade. They can never be. So appreciate that. Use that as your strength, and use that as a key for your marriage, okay? There can never be two of you, and don't let anybody tell you opposite or otherwise, okay? Now, if you have found this very useful, please share your own thoughts with us in the comments if you agree with us. We are not perfect, we are not counselors. We are sharing our experience, and we hope that you will find this very, very useful. If you have any question, as I used to say, please, the email is on the screen. Please feel free to leave the email and give us a thumbs up. Yeah! Share this as well if you have found this very useful.
And I will see you next year.
This is Bola Adeyeye Omeshade, and thanks for joining us. And I hope to see you next week. Yeah, bye.